Welcome to Discovering. I'm back in the woods with Captain Jim and Hoover. This time we're hunting woodcock.
Local birds are here and then they take off and then the flight birds come down. If you could catch it just at the right time, it could be lots of action.
And our lighthouse tour continues. Kristen was on the shores of Lake Michigan for a visit to the Sichuan Lighthouse. Sit back and relax. That's all tonight right here on Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
It was a gorgeous fall morning. Jim called and asked if I wanted to get together for some woodcock hunting.
Okay, what are we gonna do now? Gonna go chase some birds? Are we? Are there birds in here? We'll find out, eh?
My plans for cutting firewood were immediately canceled. Not a tough choice.
Oh, we're gonna go chase some grouse woodcock. A little windy today, but not too bad. Kind of dry. We'll find out how the scent is holding, whether or not we can get some birds. You ready to go, Hoove? Let's go. Hunt them up. Free. I like these knobs that are sticking out. Sometimes they just like to sit up there. I don't know if there's better vision or whatever, but they also like the real creek bottoms too, where it's thick where you can't get through. So the woodcock is a timing thing more than anything. They're here early, the local birds are here, and then they take off and then the flight birds come down. And if you could catch it just at the right time, when the leaves start to come off the trees and the flight birds are in, it could be an exciting, lots of action. Now it's easy to see, but there's not very many birds here. Earlier in the year, lots of leaves on the trees, the birds are here and it's hard to get a shot off. It's just like really quick. So the favorite thing is excuse number 72. The bird goes up over here, you go like that. That's a 72. 67, that's the sun got in my eyes. There's 100 different excuses how not to hit a bird. I think I've done them all. All right, let's go. You about wore out this cover, Hoover. You hot? You hot? So this is nice stuff. It's wrist-sized popple. It's what you're looking for. Like this one and the bigger one over here. It's a little young, but they still should hold birds. If they're still here. Hope they haven't flown. Butterfly. Is there birds in the tree? Is there birds in there? This is good canopy cover, especially if it gets nasty out. They'll hunker underneath there and get out of the weather. I think I should let a bird go down over here. Woodcock. Well, I'm not gonna shoot. See, now he didn't push that bird. It just got up on its own. And it went over here too. Where'd that bird go, Hoove? Yeah, I saw him free fly and land right there. Well, I haven't missed yet. This is wild raspberries. They clear cut this stuff. Sometimes it grows back in aspen and sometimes it grows back in raspberries. This is kind of a mixture, but very typical. Birds will eat the raspberries, but they're normally, that's the summer mast. They're all gone by now. Every once in a while you find some blackberry in the fall like this, but raspberries are earlier. When Heuver was younger, he used to hate raspberries. He's getting a little tougher now in his old age. He'd skirt around the whole patch. Now he just bulls his way through. Once you know your dog, you know when he's hot on a bird, and then you got to try to get there. Sometimes he'll be on a running grouse and you just don't have a chance. Other times if I whoa him and make him stop and let me catch up to him, then we got a half a chance of getting to him. That's why we like that lighter colored dog in the woods like this, where you can kind of watch him, and it helps with the beeper too. Till he gets too far, like this. Yeah, the expression is he's getting birdie, which means he's got scent, and he's trying to figure that out. So as their tail starts going faster, and they change their whole cadence and of their walk, and then sometimes they go into creepy crawler mode. Other times they just bolt, but it's always a mystery. There it goes. I don't know if I got it or not. He was hot on that bird. Get that, get it, fetch it up, fetch it up. Good boy. Good boy, here, come on. Here, come on. What'd you get? Oh, you're such a good boy. Out. Oh, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Success. You did well, Heuver. Little tongue action there. Be a male, shorter bill. Be the male. The female's got a little longer bill. Anyway, one in a bag. Congratulations on your achievement, Heuver. May you have continued success. The one thing that concerns us, we're fortunate to get up 2 birds, killed 1. Didn't shoot at the other one. But if you got woodcock in here, what they do is they're eating worms and bugs. They have a prehensile beak. They dig down and grab it, and then they'll get rid of the worms and out the back end, and you'll have a splash about the size of a silver dollar. It's white with a little grayish in there. And that's the markings of good cover when you're seeing that splash around. I'm not seeing hardly any, which means there's hardly any birds. Most guys will just take and cut the breasts out of the woodcock, skin it, you know, like anything else. Like the guys that take the breasts out of the pheasant and don't take the legs. Just a waste. So I learned this from a friend of mine who learned it from a friend of his. If you just lightly pluck these things, just continue on. Pull the feathers off the wing. Almost unleaded. This is one of the easiest birds to clean. Feathers just fall off. This is a nice mature bird too because there's no pin feathers. If you get a bunch of them like this, the best thing to do before you gut them is pluck them all, because your fingers get all full of blood and then the feathers stick to them and they're a pain. A lot of dogs won't pick up woodcock. There's just different taste to them. But Heuver will pick up anything. And a clippity. So you saute this healthful trail up in butter and garlic and you eat it. It separates the squeamish from the tough. Liver. You gotta have heart. There. And you just do a final cleanup later. You chase the screw down into the BB hole, wind it in there, pull it out and the BB comes out with the feathers. Soak them for a day or two, and then the BB will show up if there's any dark spots on there. BB and feathers. Marinate these in some dressing of your choice, French dressing, Italian dressing, herb and garlic, whatever, and then grill them backside down first for about 4 minutes. Flip them over just until they're medium rare, and they do not taste like flying liver. Empty the water and change it 2-3 times. Take care of your meat. That's it. $1,000 a pound.
On the shores of Lake Michigan, 20 miles east of Manistee, is the Sichuan Lighthouse, a lighthouse as unique and haunting as its name.
Well, Sichuan, or Seul Choix, is French, meaning only choice, and it was named by the French voyagers. They got caught out here in the lake in a violent storm. They found this bay, made it into the bay, and got into calmer waters. And they went Sichuan. It was their only choice for survival, was getting into the bay. So the bay and the point has been called Sichuan ever since.
It was their only choice, Sichuan. As the days passed by, they built a tower high, flashing out into the evening sky.
This house and complex was completed in September of 1895. The original lens was a third order Fresnel lens. It was a 3-wick fixed light.
Like the rest of the operational lighthouses in the state, the Fresnel light has been replaced over the years with an automated LED light.
Of course, this here's the airport beacon that was up there until they replaced it with the LED light. 2 families lived in this house. In 1925, they put an addition onto the house, and at that time they divided the house into 2, so that each family then had their own separate living quarters. This was a very well-built house, a very ornate home for government housing. All the windows, all the doors, all the hardwood floors are all original. Here's something that you might want to take a look at. Here in the new addition, you have copper molding going around all the doors. And you'll only find that here at Sichuan. Close to 260,000 visitors have been through here. People from all over the world, people who have traveled all over the world, and nobody has seen copper molding anyplace else but here at Sichuan.
Another feature you won't find on any other lighthouse is the boat accents on the gable ends.
Coast Guard built a ranch house across the way back in 1961 that the second assistant and his family lived in. There was always 3 men stationed here at Sichuan. That's in a second assistant keeper's uniform. And the reason why you can tell is on the lapel, it has a 2. Or you have a 1, which means you're the first assistant. If it has a K on there, you are the head keeper. The K stood for keeper. This here is the first lightkeeper, Joseph Fontaine. After Fontaine left, the gentleman over there was Captain Joseph Willie Townsend, and he was lightkeeper here from 1901 to August the 10th, 1910, and that's the day he died in this upstairs bedroom above us. He is the only lightkeeper to pass away here at Sichuan. Of course, this is the room that Captain Townsend died in. Marilyn will tell you all 101 different ghost stories.
Now, we've had Captain Townsend's face appear in that mirror at least 12 different times.
All these rooms have displays in them, so you can walk through the entire house. This part of the house, we have it set up as though the lightkeepers are still living here.
Or maybe the keepers are still living there. More on that later with Marilyn, who I'm glad I interviewed before I climbed the 96 steps by myself to the top of the lighthouse tower.
Coast Guard, of course, still owns that light. They maintain that light, and they pay the light bill for that light and that light only. We, as the Gulliver Historical Society, have done the restoration to all the buildings down here. We maintain them, and of course, we have to pay all the bills. Because we were one of the first to restore the lighthouse and open it back up to the public. The Gulliver Historical Society was formed in the fall of 1987, and in January of 1988 we started out here in the Fog Signal building, making that into our first museum. Foghorns were taken down in 1972 because they were no longer needed, but that building is open and has all kinds of displays. The white building, that's the original boathouse, again part of the original complex. There's a dugout canoe in there that was found here on Sichuan Bay. Proper authorities been out. They've authenticated the canoe is coming from one log, and they time date it to the late 1600s. It is a very, very rare find, even more so in this part of the country, because here, of course, all the Native Americans use birch bark canoes, not dugout canoes. We open the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, and we normally close the last day of September. This year we'll be open 2 Saturdays for Halloween, and again the house is all decorated up as a haunted house.
I've had experiences at this lighthouse for 32 years. We do have 5 spirits that we know of in the house. The main spirit is Captain Joseph Willie Townsend. He came here in 1902, and he brought his 3 children with him. And little Dorothy here in the middle, that's one of the spirits. She comes back. Now, she died at 101 years old. And she shows herself as the same little girl. And I have a picture of her on the back porch step. She's about 6 years old, and she's in the same white dress. But little Dorothy comes back to visit Grandpa. And when they meet up, you can smell cigar smoke from Captain Townsend, so we know that Dorothy has met up with Grandpa. Now, another one of our spirits is Amanda Blanchard. She was midwife and lived with her husband, William Blanchard, for over 40 years. And I have a picture of her, actually 5 pictures of her looking out of the windows. This is Amanda. A lady took this picture in the middle of the winter. She crawled up on a snowdrift and tried to take a picture inside the front kitchen window. And if you look at Amanda's picture and look at the lady looking out, yes, it is Amanda. Another one of our spirits is Augustus Pond. Now, I wrote this book 3 years ago, and I did a display out in the Fog Signal building. Well, Augustus Pond showed himself in the top of the tower in September of that year. And this is up in the top of the tower. A father of 3 with his wife all started up the lighthouse. And they got chills, sick to their stomach, goosebumps. The mom and the 3 children and husband decided to come down. The husband stood outside of the gift shop here and was taking pictures because the 16-year-old daughter said, "Dad, I'm halfway up. I'm going the rest of the way up." Well, before she reached the top of the lantern room, she turned around and came back down and was walking across the front porch down the steps. coming towards her father. Her father continued to take pictures up above. They spent the night in a motel in Manistee, and the next day the father came back with this picture and said, "What in the heck is this?" And I went, "Oh my goodness, you captured Augustus Pond." 3 weeks ago, I had a lady with 3 children and her husband coming down the tower. And the father and the 3 children came across the hallway, and we're standing there, and everybody's wondering, where's Mom? And the husband says, "I can't understand it. She was right behind us and nobody else was in the tower." And so finally, here comes Mom, and she says out loud and pointing at Captain Townsend's picture, "Your ghost saved my life." I said, "What happened?" She said, "I was coming down, I got sick to my stomach, goosebumps, the hair on the back of my head stood up, and I started falling forward. And just as I was falling forward, I felt 2 hands on my waist pull me backwards and set me down on the step." And I went, "You're kidding." She goes, "No, I am not kidding." And she says, "I turned around and there was nobody behind me." And I said, "Can you show me any proof of that?" She lifted up her shirt, and on both sides of her waist, she had 5 red finger marks on her waist. I want everyone to know nothing bad has ever happened at our lighthouse. The spirits are here because they love this place so much they don't want to leave. The books that I print are called Spirits, Spirit 1 and Spirits 2 at Seul Choix Point, and all the profits from the books come right back to our lighthouse. That's why I wrote them. And it also documents our history.
Well, that's it for this week. Be sure to check out 906outdoors.com, where you'll find the 906 fishing report, TV6 weather, shopping, and more. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.